Welcome up into the booth. I'm Joel Klatt. What an amazing college football game we just saw here in Spartan Stadium. Michigan State comes back, and they're able to take down the Michigan Wolverines in an undefeated matchup, top 10, each of these clubs for the first time since 1964. I didn't know if the game would live up to the hype of the week, and it absolutely did, and then some. What an amazing game. Congratulations to Michigan State. That was a resilient and rugged victory from that club. It didn't look pretty the entire time, but they got it done, and it was really their star players that got it done, namely on the offensive side. It was pretty apparent that Michigan was going to move the ball pretty well all day long, but they held them to field goals. That's number one. And then when they had their opportunities, the Spartans, they took advantage. Every time that they were able to put together a quality offensive series, they were able to get it into the end zone. They had a couple of two-point conversions in this game. They just countless times kept overcoming adversity, converting, getting into the end zone. And then it was about probably the best player on the field, maybe in America, folks, Kenneth Walker, going off in the second half. His vision and ability to break tackles and create big plays is special. Kenneth Walker over 190 yards in this ballgame and 5 touchdowns, the most in this rivalry's history from any player. He's going to go down in the history books, not as just a great probably one-year player for Michigan State as a transfer from Wake, but potentially a Heisman Trophy finalist. I think that this guy opened a lot of eyes across the country today, and with the eyes of the country on him, he played his best football. He was sensational. The offensive line did just enough. They were struggling in pass protection, trying to protect Peyton Thorne from Ojabo, Aiden Hutchinson. That pass rush was fierce. So what did they need to do? They needed to run the football, and they were able to. I tell you what, this guy, he is special. Every time there was a little crease, he was able to exploit it. He hit a couple of home runs. He was able to get into the end zone in tight situations, and they came all the way back. That was a gritty win from Michigan State, and now they set themselves up here to go down the stretch of the season 8-0. That playoff committee is going to love this win. I know their competition level has not been great, but today it was. These were two very good football teams. And that committee come this week is going to look at Michigan State. They're going to look at this win. I don't see how they're anywhere outside of the top 5, maybe inside of that top 4. The way they came back in this game and showed some serious football character, I think, is going to be rewarded by that committee. Mel Tucker did a remarkable job just continuing to pound into this team. Don't quit. Keep with the body blows. It didn't look good for a period there. In the second half, Michigan got rolling a little bit. The offense was playing well. Cade McNamara played his best game, and yet they just didn't quit. They continued to come back, and they continued to feed their best player. By the way, also, Jaden Reed, he was phenomenal in this game, making some huge catches, 2-point play, 4th down plays. He was terrific in this ball game, and they were able to get it done. The defense made just a few enough plays, I guess I should say, in the end in order to hold Michigan, force them into field goals, and lo and behold, you look up, and it's a win. On the Michigan side, there's going to be a number of different topics of what you can talk about. Number one is this defense had been struggling with tempo and giving up big plays. That remains. They struggled with tempo. Every time that you saw Michigan State hurry to the line of scrimmage after a conversion, Michigan wasn't aligned, and a couple of times they got substitution penalties. That's one. They didn't tackle well at the second level, and that allowed Kenneth Walker to have some of those big runs. That's been a problem for them, giving up the big play ever since the Nebraska game and then lining up with tempo. So that's number one on the defensive side. On the offensive side, this is the best game that they've played all year long, without question. Cade McNamara was terrific today. That's the best I've ever seen him play. He was on the money down the field. He was terrific early. The problem is that they continued to monkey with this 2-quarterback system, and it came back to bite them. They threw J.J. McCarthy in the game in that fourth quarter. He puts the ball on the ground. They got away with it. They put him back in the game in the next series. He puts the ball on the ground. They don't get away with it. Every time that they got stopped, it seemed like by their own doing. Now, granted, Michigan State forced some field goals. There's no doubt. But early in the game, Blake Corum dropped a sure third down conversion. Might have been a touchdown. Robbins, the punter, fumbles the snap. He tries to convert. He doesn't get to the first down line. It looks like a fake, which wasn't a fake. That's a problem. And then they put the ball on the ground with McCarthy a couple of times. That's going to be a frustrating and disheartening loss for Michigan, in particular putting up over 500 yards of offense, getting what you need out of the passing game, which was the question coming in here, and not coming away with the victory. Has to be frustrating. There's no doubt. Caden McNamara played great, and I think if he was on the field exclusively in the fourth quarter, it could have been a different outcome, potentially, based on those footballs hitting the ground. The last thing that we'll say, and it will be a topic during the course of the postgame and onward, Michigan loses by 4. Michigan State wins by 4. Great comeback. 5 touchdowns from Kenneth Walker. He's a Heisman Trophy finalist. Turnovers and quarterback controversy in the fourth quarter with Michigan. And yet there was a review in which the replay official inserted him himself into the game and made a call that I disagreed with and Mike Pereira disagreed with and overturned the sack fumble, which ended for a touchdown. Now, Michigan was able to get the ensuing punt and march down for a field goal. So that's essentially a 4-point call. 4-point call, 4-point game. Will be a source of contention after this one. I'm Joel Klatt. This has been In the Booth. Enjoy your day of college football.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here. College football on Fox.